Welcome to Legal Learning Thursday. My name is Cynthia Woodward and I'm a senior staff attorney with Coast to Coast Legal Aid. Today I'm going to discuss with you tips for appearing on Zoom hearings. Okay, sorry. Zoom is a video and audio platform that the Broward County Courthouse is using since March of 2020 due to COVID-19. Most, if not all, hearings and mediations are taking place by video conference on Zoom. You must have audio and video capabilities on any device that you use to use Zoom and to use the Zoom app. By following the tips that I'm going to give you, I'm going to help you appear at your best for your court hearing. The website for Zoom is www.zoom.us. The Broward County Clerk of the Court also has a website that will take you to the remote court hearings on Zoom. The Broward County Clerk of Court website is www.browardclerk.org. In addition, each Broward County judge has a separate link for Zoom hearings, and you can find those links either on your notice of hearing or on the website that I'm showing you on the screen, www.17thflcourts.org/judiciary. These links will take you directly to a live hearing, and you can also view each judge's procedures according to the schedule. The first tip you need to know for Zoom hearing is to make sure your device is fully charged and you have a backup device handy in case you need it. You should download the Zoom application on both devices and create an email address that will allow the judge to see your name and identify you easily. Many people may appear at the same time for a hearing, and the judge will allow all of you into the courtroom at one time. And if you're not identified by your name, it will be difficult for the judge to find you when calling your case. Some people just sign in with their phone number, some people sign in with various email addresses, and it makes it difficult for the judge to decide whether you're in the room or not and to unmute you for the hearing. Be aware, though, that any email address or phone number that you do use for the court will become part of the public record. If you want your email address to be confidential or your phone number to be confidential, you may want to create a special email address just for use of the court. When you go to Zoom, you should make sure you have a great internet connection, and if that's possible, connect to your Ethernet cable in your house. Position your camera so that the judge can easily see your full face, and not so close, though, that the judge is looking up your nose. You should not have the camera under a table or in a bathroom mirror. It's best to just have the camera in front of you. Try to be in a quiet space with a blank wall behind you, and do not appear in bed, do not appear while driving, don't be walking around your house when you're appearing before the court. Notice what you have in your background. If you want to keep your location confidential, you should make sure your background doesn't identify where you are. If you're experienced with Zoom or experienced with technology, you can change your background to anything you want. But when you're going to have a court hearing, it should be a plain wall or a plain colored wall if possible, so as not to distract from your court hearing. Remember, you will be visible to all, so if others are waiting in the courtroom at the same time as you are, they can hear and see everything that is going on in your screen. So you should try to mute yourself immediately when you go into a courtroom. And you should also try to stop your video until the judge calls you by name. Once the judge calls you by name, you can unmute yourself and start your video by going to the red button on the left-hand corner of your screen. If you only want to appear by audio, you can turn off your video. You can also test these things before your hearing starts. When you first go on to the Zoom meeting or hearing, there's a way to test your audio and to test your volume to make sure you can hear what's going on, to make sure the judge can hear what you're saying. I've been in several hearings lately where the judge couldn't hear the person that was trying to testify, and it makes it very difficult for the judge to have a hearing if he can't hear you. If worst comes to worst, try to have a notepad next to you where you can hold it up to the screen with a note for the judge if you can't hear or you can't be heard. In addition, remember that when you're unmuted, every word you say will be heard by the judge and everyone else in the hearing or waiting in the hearing. If you're testifying, you should try and speak directly into the microphone, and the judge will also always tell you when to unmute yourself. You should dress appropriately. Zoom hearings are like live in-person hearings at the courthouse, so you should be respectful in your attire. It's okay if you're at work and in a work uniform, but you should just try and be respectful in your attitude as well. Don't be applying makeup while you're waiting for your hearing. Don't be fixing your hair. Again, these are things that people actually do in Zoom hearings, and you want to make a good impression on the judge and you want to appear at your best. So you should try to avoid doing those things. Make sure you have your photo identification handy to show to the judge. If you will be testifying or speaking to the judge wants to make sure you are who you say you are and must corroborate your identity with your photo ID. You will need to show it to the judge by holding it up to the camera before your hearing starts when the judge calls your name. Make sure you have good lighting for your hearing. If you're appearing in front of a window with the light behind you, you may just look like a shadow. So you should try and make sure the light is in front of you. I keep a light handy on my desk that I can turn on to make myself brighter if I appear dark in my video hearing. If you have blinds, close them behind you. And again, any lighting should be in front of you. If you have no Zoom experience, you can practice on Zoom before the day of your scheduled hearing. I always think that's a good idea to practice. Many people don't take that advice, but I do think it avoids problems at your hearing. Before you log on to the hearing, on the day of your hearing, make sure you're comfortable. Get whatever you need before you log on to the hearing. If you want to eat or drink or use the restroom, please do so before you log on to the hearing. Many times you have to wait when you log on to a hearing, and it can be several minutes while you're waiting, and you never know when the judge is going to call you. So you need to be ready to appear when he calls your name, and you need to have your photo ID out and ready to show him. I always suggest if you log in on the day of your hearing about 10 to 15 minutes early. That way, if you have problems connecting or problems with audio or video, you can disconnect, restart your computer or restart your phone and get back on and connected before the time of your hearing starts. Again, the best thing to do if you're having those kind of problems is to log out and then log on again as quickly as possible. When you get to the Zoom hearing, it's going to say launch meeting. There'll be a blue box that says launch meeting, and you click on that and you go to a live hearing or live waiting room. If you are having difficulty after logging off and logging on, it's always good to have another device nearby that you can try and use instead of the device you are using. Once your hearing starts, you should not be texting or communicating with anyone other than the judge. You should be alone, and no one should be offering you advice or pointers. If you have children home with you, you should try and go into a separate space or have someone else care for the children while you're in your hearing. Children should not be present during the hearing or hear what's going on. And especially if the hearing concerns your children, Florida law strictly prohibits the children's attendance without a prior court order from the judge. And you can't get a court order on the day of your hearing. You need to do that ahead of time. So please don't have children around if at all possible. I mean, these are trying times, and the court tries to be sympathetic to people's circumstances, but you don't want to have children if you can avoid it. During the hearing, be considerate of others and let others finish testifying or talking before you begin to speak and without interruption. State your name when you begin to speak. Again, speak directly into the microphone on your device. Be patient when you have these hearings, and please do not interrupt the judge when he or she is speaking to you or to anyone else in the hearing. It's possible that during these hearings, the judge may put you in another room. It may be a waiting room. Instructions will appear on the Zoom screen that tells you you are in a waiting room. And when this happens, you need to follow whatever instructions appear on the Zoom screen. But you should be aware of who else is in the waiting room with you. Again, you don't want to be saying things or discussing things if there are other people in the room with you. Once your hearing is over, the judge will make a ruling usually, and will tell you that you can leave the hearing and close the Zoom link. The clerk of the court will usually email you a copy of the order if you've signed up to get emails. And if not, you will need to go to the Broward Clerk website to get a copy of your order, or go to the Broward County Courthouse to get a copy of your order. You can sign up to receive emails from the court by going to the website that we have here on the screen, www.myflcourtaccess.com. And if you follow these simple tips, you should appear your best for your Zoom hearings. Thank you for watching, and tune in Thursdays at noon for more legal learning. Please join us next week when we have the Each unit presenting on food stamps and veterans. And please like us and follow us on Facebook and YouTube at Coast to Coast Legal Aid. Thanks again.